But before we get things kicked off, let's say hello to the co-host and executive producer of the show program, Henry Hank Green. Good evening, Hank.
Good evening, Kev.
And as always, in our producer's booth, Nick Wargo. Good evening, Nick.
Good evening, guys. How's it going?
Pretty good. Lots of people trying to bend my ear to find out exactly, what our thoughts are on this upcoming election. Hank and I plan to spend this show discussing the various ins and outs and all abouts. Hank is fiddling with his headphones. Those are better?
I'm doing producing up in here, Kevin Hall.
Okay.
We're going live on the Henry Hank Green Show, also with the Kevin Hall Show program on Facebook.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to get that on there. So if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you can also check out the show also on Henry Hank Green, Facebook Live.
Okay, we're just 4 days away from the election, and I don't know. What are you feeling? We have some national stuff. We try not to spend too much time, if any, on the national stuff. I think that's covered ad nauseum, but we also are interested in what's going on statewide and countywide. We do have county seats that are up and also assembly seats that are up. You need something?
I just wanted to further that, there are a lot of different seats up. We haven't been talking about a lot of the other seats that are up in this state of New Jersey. Uh-huh. And so we want to refer to some of the other candidates that are out there. And we were hoping and wishing that maybe some of those same candidates, maybe they didn't know that they could also participate on the Kevin Hall Show program to promote what they were doing. So maybe they did not know. And so for future references, we're planning on making sure that not just the candidates for the main or that we focus on Atlantic City Council, mayor, things like that, assembly, senator. That we want to focus on all of the seats and everything that's going on, and we want to touch bases on everything.
927-1100 is the number to call if there's something that's on your mind. You want to share your opinions on what's going on, what you might do on Tuesday if you are a
927-1100. We want your participation. We want to hear from the audience, our listeners in this particular or area, and we want to see what the people are thinking.
And I tell you, Hank and I have been going through this for about 3 weeks. In and out different verbiage that we were trying to decide on using for this little endorsement thing, and I wound up catching fire. And I do know that if you know anything about me, you know that it's extremely deliberate in terms of my thought process, and we take into consideration all of those things that Hank, with his ear thoroughly to the ground, is hearing and coming back and talking to me about. So you'll be listening to that around the 9:30 half hour. 927-1100 is the number to call if there's something that's on your mind. We were trying to not push anything on because we were expecting a call right around this time.
Well, there's many different things going on in the city lately. There were people upset about the issue that was going on with Brown Parks. There was a little stumble, I guess, initially, what was going on. But I was thinking about that. I know that Steve Young,
National Action Network, and a good friend of mine, activist in the city, was upset about exactly how that worked out when they opened up a Memorial Day. It was a beautiful day. Everything was nice. What they've done, the money that they put in there, they can see the bang for their buck, what was going on that day. And Kaleem Shabazz was out there, and Marty Smalls and different individuals. But preceding that particular day, the park was closed. After that day.
And many people were upset, and they were wondering what was going on with that. And we were glad that, me personally, I know that Steve Young was on top of it. And that he led the charge and to finding out why would we open it up on Memorial Day and showcase what we have and then not be it not be open after that. And
what did they ultimately say was the cause?
Subsequently, the park will be open. There were some things that they said that they had to finish taking care of with the park, but it would be opening within this weekend. And so we're happy about that. And me personally, I just wanted to shout out Steve Young for his efforts and what he did, and as he always does when there's issues and concerns, and people showboating and things like that. If the park wasn't ready to go, particularly it shouldn't have been opened up at the time, and kids shouldn't have been allowed to go in there and participate if it wasn't up to staff, whatever it was, and it shouldn't be a placate or a showcase for certain individuals.
All right. 927-1100 is the number to call. Let's take this call from Galloway. It's Robert. Robert's calling into the show program. Good evening, Robert, and welcome. See, you have a comment on Browns Park. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, I don't know too much about Browns Park. The only question I have, if the state took the city over, why do they still have a mayor and 9 councilmen?
I will tell you, Robert, that is a question. Some people whisper it, some people shout it. And, I, quite frankly, am looking to be satisfied. I've heard different explanations, but I'd like to be satisfied as to why.
I'm not using any judgment of mine, but I mean, it was supposed to save money, and they're paying the state money, and they're still keeping up the council and mayor, and if they're running for election like nothing ever happened.
That's a great question,
really
Robert. Robert, I truly believe that. Robert, you stole my thunder for tonight. Robert, you stole my thunder, Robert. Robert, you stole my thunder.
This was on your mind.
I don't want. No, I'm not trying to be a wise guy or anything.
No, I agree with you totally, Robert, and I'm not joking around. I just was making a joke because I that was part of my thing for later on when we got into our essence of choosing what we think, who we think our predictions were at the end, and that was actually part of it.
Yeah. I have no animosity towards the city councilmen and all the other people. I grew up in Atlantic City originally, but I just don't understand why they have the two. The state, the state's doing all these different things supposedly. Who's doing what?
Well, one thing is for sure, and I'm hoping that Atlantic City voters are listening, as many as possible, and they can ask in these final days, 4 days before the election, exactly what is the circumstance or what are the circumstances. Just explain to them, and hopefully they will be satisfied, because I told you, I talked to these gentlemen. I'm telling you, they all have what would be a sanguine argument when you talk about what they are going to do. But I
would like Robert to really continue to listen to the rest of the show. So when I get to my
question, what would be your best opinion? Just get the state out of the picture, have the city do it, or vice versa?
That I think that the state out of the city is job one, and I think that the city.
Well, that's what I believe. I believe that too.
Thank you, Robert. And as Hank was saying, please stay tuned, because we have some very interesting pearls to pass along a little later on.
Well, I wish Robert had called a little bit later on, Robert. I really, I really enjoyed your question, and I appreciate that, because I think it's.
Yeah, I'm just asking. It's just a question.
And it's a simple question that regular people that you think common sense would ask, all right, well, we're about saving money and this is happening. The state is basically running everything and they're making all the decisions and the things like that. And we're paying these other people just to what?
Well, I do want to let you know that where you think that we are paying them for nothing. No, they actually do a very functional job, Hank, until they do something the state doesn't want.
And so that's
the problem.
Right. And you're correct, Kevin. That's the problem right there. They're doing their regular work and things like that. And then when the state says, "Oh no, we don't want that," or "You can't do that," and again, that's part of the topic that's coming up later on. I spoke with Steve Young earlier this week, and he was talking about the council meeting. And early in the week, they had a bunch of different things on the council agenda. And then when you get to the council meeting, half or most of the things that were on the original council agenda didn't show up in the council meeting or wasn't on the agenda at all. And so.
I understand.
So, all right, and what happened to all the issues and things that they started off with or that they wanted to do? Did the council just get rid of it and things like that? But then you didn't hear anybody in council meeting complaining about it, that what the state did.
Well, thank goodness that you were able to even call attention to that, because really what winds up happening is you need to go and research and find out what happened to these particular items, because come on, there's got to be transparency in government, and if we know to ask the questions, they at least will answer the questions to the best of their ability, and hopefully we'll get to the answers. Hey, listen, Robert, we really appreciate that. Man, Hank, we lost a caller, but I really wanted to get that one in. 927-1100.
Please call back.
Yeah, 927-1100 is the number to call.
Thank you, Robert.
Be a part of the Kevin Hall Show program on this last show before the election. And coming up,
and I would hope to get a little bit more about that particular situation information when Steve Young calls on, because I hope that he will be he's listening now, and that he will be calling in later on. If he's not now, that we will ask him that particular question when he does call in.
Because I don't want to even act like he will be surprised by the question. It's been asked by several people during the course of this. Exactly what is the reason for the state to come in if ultimately the city is still running as it had before then. The only thing that I added was until we recently saw the state buck and say, I don't care what the city's opinions or what they plan to do. We are going to do this, and you have no option but to do what we say.
927-1100. I like our last caller who just dropped off the phone line. We didn't get the chance to get you. Please call back, because we love to hear from you and know what your opinions and your thoughts are.
All right. Now, what's going to be going on over the rest of this weekend is we do anticipate quite a lot of canvassing. In our neighborhood, we had some of the candidates canvassing in the Bungalow Park area yesterday, and I wasn't sure if I saw anybody today, but just a yeoman's effort by some of the campaigns. My surprise is that I didn't really see some of the other campaigns. We know the two primary people that they are talking about in terms of this election, but some of the other candidates, some of the candidates have...
The ones that desperately need to get their names out there.
Hank.
Because I think, again... we have other issues, and I would love to get into some of the other things that we're talking about before I actually get into some of the political things that are going on.
Sure.
And what I feel, from me walking around and interacting and going through the community, talking to people and hearing from them what their issues may be, business owners, and talking to them also. Let's talk to get in maybe a little bit of something else, because I wanted to talk about just that. We was talking about the fact of with the state and the state coming in, and with this particular MGM deal with Caesars, and that has been from just reported in the press of Atlantic City.
Yes, and we ran a soundbite, I believe, from one of the players involved in this, Nick. That was one of the players that was commenting on this MGM Caesars plan. But the idea that this is something that has been put together with, our lame duck governor, but with something that we have to embrace, because it is something that is positive, that it's going to increase the profile and the tax revenue in the city of Atlantic City. So here, somebody that we'd rather say, or many people would rather say boo hiss to, especially in our area. We have to say, wow, we do appreciate that particular effort, because just as the soundbite said, these people still have a belief in Atlantic City. They still think that Atlantic City is going to have growth, and its better days are ahead of it. And so, I try to...
And so I beg to differ on just the approach. I think that the fact that the state was the main person vilifying the city of Atlantic City. They were our main arch enemies that was deterring people from coming to Atlantic City and visiting Atlantic City, because they were perpetuating how bad we were, and how horrible we were, and how horrible our government was, and how horrible our industry was.
But somehow they were able to get the information to MGM and Caesars, and they said, despite the fact that you're saying these things, Governor, you still think Atlantic City is the place for us to do something? And he said, yeah.
Well, what happened was, Kevin, they done made all that money now. They done vilified the city. They done took over the city. They've been making their deals and transaction and pilots for all the other industries that have made money in millions of dollars, and they done solidified their position in Atlantic City from the future from the future forward. You know what I mean? Christie, MGM, Borgata, Caesars, and whatever deal that these particular peoples and individual had made from the plan that they made now through fruition, Stockton, the college, Stockton, and the South Jersey Gas, and all the other places that, with the Creta, with the land banking and the different deals that's you're going to see. You're going to see so many different deals and people making monies that you never heard before. But trust me, this is affiliation with those people and individuals that are making